We are live. Allegedly. Allegedly live. But who knows? Comment if you are. It says waiting. Link copied. Tell me if it's live or not. It is. I believe it is live. Allegedly. Yes, it is. So if you see this, let me know. One is watching. Literally for a chat. That's all this is for. Nothing special. It's kind of a live feed back on a Wednesday. Just by default, it's a Wednesday. That's it really. So towards the end of the day now. Almost. Thought test out the GoPro 9, Hero 9, which has come. It's got a live stream feature, which enables you to get some very strange close-up angles like this one, where it's sat on the desk. And you see quite a wide angle. Distorts it slightly, but... So hopefully you've got a cup of tea. I'm assuming you are. You tell me. You need to have a cup of tea. If you haven't, you need to get one. So if you've got any questions or anything, then let me know. What I might do actually, whilst I'm here, is I might actually share this electric people. Because if you sign up to electric people, what is the matter with you? Get in there. 100 quid a month on electric people. So make the most of it. It's free, isn't it? Sign up and share your experiences riding electric unicycles. Post up your pictures and everything else. Hello Eichmann AV. Hello Olav. Hello Marcus. Are you starting a weekly show again? Probably not. We are massively busy. As you might have seen, poor old Barry is on the floor earlier fixing a wheel. That's because everything is totally rammed. I think we've got about 25 wheel backlog so far that we're sorting through. Getting there slowly. Parts supply, parts, wheels, everything you can imagine has been really difficult to get hold of over the last, weirdly, since about March time. As everything's been locked down. So yeah, so we may just do a quick one every now and again and try and settle back into it, but we don't really know yet. It takes quite a lot to do the live shows. You need basically a minimum 2 of us. We need me here, and you need Mary on the camera and the control and everything, and you've got all the live equipment. Whereas actually, I'm just pumping this out at the moment on a little GoPro, which is pretty neat. You just plugged it in some power to keep it going, because that hasn't even had a charge. That's how fresh this Hero 9 is. Got out of the box. Not charged. Why didn't they send it charged, eh? Like Speedy Feet do with wheels. Well, if we have time. So let me know how you're getting on. And I'm going to share this on Electric People. Let's have a little look. Put that up there. Post that. Will anyone be on Electric People? We've got some posts on there. What have we got? Let's have another look at those. I just ordered brushed aluminium effect vinyl wrap, black off eBay. Says Christopher. I'm going to go over and cover my 9-bot scratches and hopefully make it look more Batman. Has anyone else got that? Has anyone else covered their wheel? Oh, Alex posted up that he's going to do a meet up in Liverpool. Not that relevant because it was 2 months ago, but someone's just commented on it, so that's why it's brought that back up. So if anybody is in Liverpool area, go on to Electric People, have a quick look, and you'll see a couple of posts down. Alex Sullivan has posted up. They're doing a ride out, about 20 of them. So there's quite a few riders in the Liverpool area. So go and check that out for sure. Ivan Cullis, what do you think of my Speedy Feet t-shirt design? Good or bad? I like that. It's got Speedy Feet front and centre. I'm going to go and give that a like. I haven't even seen that. I'm going to put it on there. I'm going to put love it. Oh, let's get your votes. Let's get your votes. If you're not on Electric People or you haven't seen this post, I can't control the chats and everything. Let me show you Ivan's post. There it is, look. I presume you can see that, can you? Who knows? I'm behind by quite a bit, so I can't really wait on there. But there you go, that's the post there. So, yeah. Not bad. Not bad at all. Commented on that. I like it. There we go. Job done. Oh, look, it's a cool. What's to do with? Hello?
Oh, hello.
You're right. I'm just on the live show at the moment. So,
Are you?
yeah, I am.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was just ringing up to say how amazing you are and how handsome.
Yeah.
I like your
Extremely handsome is the correct term you're looking for.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I was going to say that, but I thought that'd be a bit boastful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you said it anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Gotta go on the old live stream, aren't I? So.
Oh, are you? Hi,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. See you later.
When are you going to do a weekly episode?
Yeah. I don't know when I'm going to do the weekly episode. When I got time.
Right. Every week.
Yeah. Bye.
By mistake.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Love you lots. Bye. So got a few questions. Glad to see you. Busy is good. Have done a review on V11 yet? No, started editing it yesterday. All the footage is completely done and compiled and put onto the old editing machine. Got a bit of a beast of a machine here, an iMac. So we edit on that when we can. Yeah, so that's been edited up. All good. Should be done probably tomorrow, I suspect. Didn't have a chance to touch it today. So Voice Neo DX something from Carolison Costa. Don't know what that means, so I'll leave that to anyone else who can speak Spanish, presumably. Hi, Matt in Bath. He has remembered the old protocol, which is Z10 and V5F. He's mentioned where he's from. He's mentioned what wheels he's got. He hasn't mentioned how far he's gone on there. He's going to have a little guess in a minute, I reckon. Rob Hitch, hi Ian, Galby, bonjour, Ivan, Cullis, who is the one that I showed you the t-shirts from a second ago, very, very briefly. So, yeah, you can go. You should have done a poll there, Ivan. You could have done a poll. You can't do a poll, I don't think, on electric people. Do a poll and add a picture, can you? Perhaps you can. Don't know. Never tried it. Because what you want, really, is get the photos of the t-shirt and then put A and B. You can make two different designs, say, do you vote A or B? That's one way of doing it, isn't it? There we go. I had an interesting little story. Hi, Brian. Brian's just joined us. I have an interesting little story. I got pulled over by the Rozzers the other day, the first time in 7 years. And so that was an interesting one. I was reminded of that because I just saw Rob's on there. And Rob's got a blog on wheels and trying to legalise them, etc. So this is the UK, obviously. Got pulled over, blues and twos. I was riding very sensibly, very, very sensibly, as I always do. I was down the road, in line with traffic, etc. Being a good boy, I had my full armour on. I was riding the V11, so I had the day running light, which is what it comes with. I won't speak too much about it because, you know, you might get to know too much about it. Also the rear light on. And I was using hand arm signals. But a police car passed me as I was coming down the hill. I was like, as I always do, oh dear, get that sinking feeling. And it's been like that for 7 years, really. And every single time I've ever had an encounter with a police officer, it has always been, where on earth do you get that from? That looks awesome. This time, the blues and twos came on, and I was just about to head into a forest trail, and I was thinking to myself, I could run away here. But I'm not like that. So I thought, I want to have a conversation with this chap. So I turned around and approached him. And he said, you can't ride that on the road. And I said, why on earth not? Or why not? I think I said, not why on earth not, but why not? And he said, because you need insurance, because it's a vehicle, motor vehicle. And I explained it wasn't a motor vehicle because the DVLA won't classify it as one. And so we had a chat for about 10 or 15 minutes. A lovely policeman. Hats off to him. He was a really good bloke. Chatting for a while, he went away. I gave him the details. Said speedy feet, so don't need to hide anything. Been riding for 7 years. Gave him all the details. A couple of hours later, I had a call from Mike. I was out filming the V11, and I had a phone call from him. And lo and behold, it was the police officer that had turned up at Speedy Feet HQ and wanted to have a chat with me. So I gave him my home address, and we met at home. So that was interesting. We had a little chat, and I've always been of the opinion that the legislation is a very grey area for two reasons. My two reasons are, and you could only defend it in court really, he wanted to show me a line of legislation which talks about specifically electric unicycles being banned. Now, my argument is that these are not electric unicycles. Sounds mad to all of us because we refer to them as electric unicycles. So he said to me, well, what is it then? I said, well, exactly, what is it? It's a grey area. We call them electric unicycles because what other human on this planet would call them anything other than a unicycle? An electric unicycle, because it makes sense, it's one wheel. But the point is, it's not a cycle, as in a bicycle is something you cycle. So there's a cyclic motion, so you cycle, that's what's called a bicycle. And there was a time when people were riding electric unicycles, literally unicycles with the pedals that are motor powered as well, riding in an area where bicycles weren't allowed, and therefore the legislation was changed. That's my interpretation of it. This is not electric unicycle. Now, the interesting thing is we should probably start referring to them as mono wheels. I'm not sure why we don't, but of course the entire website and everything, and everyone's websites talks about electric unicycles because that's what people are searching for. So mono wheel, let's start referring to them as mono wheel, shall we? Get a little campaign going saying, look, mono wheel, this is a mono wheel. The other thing is, and this is my pet hate, they are foot plates, they are not pedals. People refer to them all the time as pedals. Now, a long time ago, they used to be in the manufacturer's parts list, they used to be called foot plates, and they've slowly fallen for the pedal quote, because they're not pedals. You pedal pedals, you stand on foot plates. So it would be great if we could all get that into our heads that it's a mono wheel for one, and secondly, which I don't ever call it mono wheels, I've always called electric unicycles, still do, but it's a mono wheel because that's what it really is. It's a mono wheel is the closest description. There is no cycling involved, and it's a foot plate, not a pedal. It's a foot plate. Foot plates are stationary; they stand still, and you stand on that metal plate. It's a foot plate. So the more we can call them foot plates and not pedals, it takes it away, further away, distances ourselves from the cycle aspect, and also call it a mono wheel. There we go. That's my story. And I wasn't planning on talking about that, actually. I just saw Rob come on, and I rung Rob as a customer of ours, and just asked him if he got any inside information that might help, because I wanted to have a constructive conversation with the policeman when he came to my house, and not just talk a load of rubbish. And it was really good. He was really good. I mean, genuinely nice bloke, didn't do anything, said not to take any further, there's nothing to discuss really. Really nice bloke, job done. So if he sees this video, thank you very much for being not a naughty policeman, a-hole maybe is the word for it. Very down to earth, used his own discretion, understood exactly where I was coming from. Like I explained, I've been riding for about 7 years. We did 1,000 miles across 5 different countries in the United Kingdom, and ridden goodness knows how many miles on roads. And our paths had never crossed, and no instances have taken place in the last 7 years of riding over probably, I don't know how many miles it would be, 30,000 miles or whatever it is. It's never been an issue. So they are safe, and the 1,000 miler did prove that the concept of these things 3 years ago when we did it, they're fine. You can travel. I can travel through Ireland and back round again to Speedy Feet HQ via different countries. So there we go. So try and remember those little tippets, basically. Tippets, whatever it is. Snippets, which is mono wheel foot plate. There we go. So, there we go. Oh, cup of tea is lovely. I'll read through some of his comments now. Matt from Bath has done about 1,200 miles on his Z10 and about the same on the venerable V5F. Matt from Bath came out on a ride out on his V5F, and it was off-roading. Fair play to him, riding a 14-inch wheel with that low a foot plate on some of the stuff we were riding across. A very good show that was. Olav, Norway, Tesla, 2,400 kilometers, XL, 8,900 kilometers, and the Sherman, 500 kilometers. Good going. James is on. 9 out of 10 times, if you treat them with respect, they are cool. And he's talking about policemen there. We have got Ian Williams, In Motion V8, 2,230 kilometers. MSX 100 volt, 8,000 kilometers. And the MSX 100 volt plus, 2,200 watt hours, 7,000 kilometers. Nice to see you back. Nice to see you, Ian. Also, a great first name. Monowheel is already a term for vehicles when you sit inside the wheel since a century. That is Marcus from Sweden, and I know the thing you're talking about. It sort of rotates around you as you sit in it. Well, that's ruined my t-shirt logo. Ivan says, showed you it earlier on electricpeople.org. Ivan posted up pictures of a t-shirt design he did, and it says EUC on it, so that's ruined, isn't it? Ian Williams, I got pulled over by the police, but they just wanted to know what it was and if I had a car or bike license and where they could buy one from. So I said, excellent, thank you very much. Good man, let's send more police officers to my address. Bill, I am considering hydrodip or vinyl wrap my Sherman when I receive the wheel. That's a good idea. And I think the Sherman is set up so well for having some custom designs on it. It's basically a blank canvas, which is, I mean, it's got a pattern on the panels, which, you know, can get in the way of spraying and stuff, but it's so small, the pattern, that you can just overlay it with anything. They look awesome. I wanted to turn mine into like a jerry can style. So if anybody wants to make up some patterns, vinyl patterns that look like a jerry can, then yeah, there we go. Mr. Scullis, I bought the 9-bolt 1S2 and it broke. It couldn't get repaired because they no longer make the parts. I got a full refund. I'm looking to upgrade to a better solar wheel, something fast. Well, check out the Gotway RS High Speed that I've just done a video on. Went up yesterday on the YouTube channels. So go and check that out, Mr. Scullis. GG next. Can I ask you something? Do you sell any Velcro mounted power pads? I would like a pair that is removable and position adjustable. Well, I've seen people, we do the Super Boost pads. If you go to speedyfeet.co.uk, search Super Boost, you'll find them. You can then get the Velcro patches to stick on. I've seen people do that. They overlay it at the back. So it's got a glue on the back of the pad naturally. So you remove that, you can take the sticky back off the Velcro, and the two glues bonded together make it incredibly strong. And then obviously you stick the other side of the Velcro on your wheel, and then you can do it. So, yeah. But the French call it mono-roue, I think. Shall we hijack the term mono-wheel? I think we should. I think we should. It is a mono-wheel. I didn't claim to say that I made that word term up, but that's what it is. It's a mono-wheel. It's the closest we can get to it. So, try that. One thing we have done, talking about speedyfeet.co.uk, is we've got a load of stuff ready for winter come in. Now, one thing I thought of, when I got pulled over by that police officer, I was thinking if it was night time, I'm typically wearing a black waterproof and windproof top with the black Alpine Stars motorbike trousers, which do have reflective bits on them, but they're not designed really for arm signals. And so we got some of these in. What they are, and you can't really tell right now, it's not going to be very bright, but trust me, at night time this is incredibly bright. This is a light, and this is all lit up, and it can put it on the flashing mode, you can put it on slow flash, fast flash, and solid or off. This is just a wrap that you put around when you've got a coat on. It fits around your arm, and so have one on each arm, and then you can indicate. Your arms are in the front typically when you're riding along, and people can see the upper part of your body. So you've got the wheel that's lit up, and these as well. So if you look on speedyfeet.co.uk and you go to, let me have a quick look exactly where it is on the website. So they're down as, we've done a lot of work on the site. If you go to unicycle and go to protect, so you go to unicycles, speedyfeet.co.uk, unicycles, then go to protective clothing, you click on that, it brings up the protective clothing. So you've got all the helmets, the Kali range, the body armor, the Alpine Star trousers. On the left, you've got a filter, and you've got reflective strips, which are these and a little bit, they're not very expensive at all. And so this is a tenner, with a you can get a replaceable battery for it. And then we do the ones with no lights in it at all, which are £2.99. This is including VAT. It's a bit of a no-brainer, really. So we brought those in. We've also got, on that filter, you can look at rucksacks. Now, they're waterproof rucksacks by Oxford. And so I'm constantly carrying like this laptop and stuff and camera equipment. And as this weather starts to turn, and at the same time things start to get darker, we brought all this stuff in, really. Stuff that I want to ride with. So I brought it in. Thought I might as well stock it. So we got a shed load of that stuff arrived early this week. No, end of last week. End of last week, I think. No, Monday this week. So it was Monday this week. Yeah, and so you got the fluo, which is the same sort of colour as this. Bags. This is black, but with loads of reflective strips on the back. The navy and the orange, and then we got this in this colour, and we've got it in orange also. The thing about this is it's got a hook on it, so you don't have to have it around your wrist if you don't want. You can hang it on a bag, or you can crimp it around a bag, because it wraps naturally like that, see? So it can go around your ankles, whatever you want, really. It's a neat little thing. So go and check them out. Well worth it. I shall be wearing 2 of these as a nice drawing, one on each arm. That's what I'm going to be doing. So worth mentioning that. Go check out speedyfeet.co.uk. And again, if you haven't already, then go over to electricpeople.org and post up some content, because people are always interested, especially photos and stuff. Beautiful surroundings a lot of you guys live in. Hi, when Monster Pro, this is Ruslan, I think is how you pronounce it. When Monster Pro and X come out? That's a good question, isn't it? I think the Monster Pro, I think it is end of this month or early next. It's supposed to be possibly available. And the other one is October, sometime end of October. So there we go. Something like that, but these things are subject to change. I mean, it has been a nightmare with the KSS18 and the V11. It has been a total nightmare. Taking pre-orders for the thing, told it's supposed to be 4 or 5 weeks, that turns into 8 weeks, that 8 weeks turned into 12 weeks, and it's like, oh my goodness. So yeah. How do you learn to ride backwards? Well, we've done a video, Mr. Scullis, on how to ride backwards. If you check out our channel, if you just type in riding backwards Speedy Feet, you'll see that's the best I can offer, because describing it and filming it and trying to get that across is quite difficult. Some people get on with riding backwards by using a wall. It's like people used to learn to go forward, so you can go backwards that way as well. The way in the video is the way I learned, so I just relayed that in a video. So check that out and see you get on. When I first got into these vehicles, Matt says, I didn't know the search term, but intuitively entered monowheel. Interesting. It definitely makes sense to me, more sense than unicycle. Clowns and bears ride them. Very true. Veg by Power Pads did V11. Any info on that, you gorgeous BASTARD? And how about speaker upgrade for InMotion? So Power Pads InMotion are bringing some out, and they're also bringing out a seat for the V11 as well. No details on it at the moment. So I found out about this, by the way, from a customer, Stephen, you know who you are, this morning. I haven't got a clue. These suppliers are awful at offering up information. So we give them big wedges of money and then they supply us product. If they tell us about things, then we can give them that money, but they don't contact us. So it's like, okay, we'll chase you about spending money with you. It's not a rant, it's just the truth. It's like today, I don't have a clue about that. They're talking about they want to make this a seat and they want to make the power pads, but they want to know how many people are interested in it and etc. And they're calling on customers to reach out to their dealers. What they could actually do is reach out to the dealers rather than getting customers to do it. Just send an email or actually just a chat, because we're on chat all the time. I've been chatting to them today. Didn't know anything about it. Brilliant, isn't it? The Gotway RS is way outside my price range. Is there another suggestion that is unbound? You for V8 VF for sure. You could go for V8, but it's an end of line model, the V8. So once InMotion run out of the V8s, it'll just be V8F. So they'll have the V5F, the V8F, the V10, V10F, and the V11. So try and future-proof yourself a little bit and get the V8F, I would suggest. That's the closest to your money that you're talking about. It's over your budget. The other thing you could do is go M10-3, which is a stupidly crazy little wheel. It's a 10-inch wheel, so it's not for everybody, and it's not for all terrains, because the smaller diameter wheel you've got, the harder it is riding off-road. If you're just doing road, and it was smooth pavements, etc. that you're riding around on, then that could be for you. But I would sit in the middle ground and say V8F, because it's a 16-inch wheel, covers pretty much everything. It'll do a good, decent range. It's got a lot of power, 1000-watt motor, and it's a good price for that. It's value for money, bang for buck. GG next. A few days ago, I realised I need to learn how to get on the wheel with my left leg. Very true. Has anyone else tried that? Has anyone else tried getting on your wheel with the opposite leg you usually get on with? You could practice that. That really, really helps if you get into difficult situations off-road. Being able to plonk one of your other legs down that you're not used to dropping and then jumping back on the wheel again. So it can help. So yeah, if you can, I'd recommend practicing that. And Charles riding used to do the figure of 8 because the figure of 8 gives you all angles, so all turns, doesn't it? If you think about it, if you follow a figure of 8, you're leaning both ways, turning both ways, and it's something you can repeatedly do over and over again. And it's a bit similar to wheels. You can do a figure of 8 with wheels, so you get used to every single angle, and you don't need much space to do it. depending on how big your living room is, you could probably do it in your living room if you're allowed. Always ask your wife. And James Mucklin has said the Tesla V2. Yes. So if you look at speedyfeet.co.uk, go and have a look at the Teslas. We just got them back in, the latest version of the V2. You go and check those out, but they are going to be above that $1,000 price point. But it's close, but not as close as the V8F. But has more power than the V8F. So the trouble is the price creeps up nittle by nittle. The more battery you add, the more power you add. That's the way it goes. Ronnie, hello Ronnie. He says hi Ian. This new ride, is it worth the money, the new Gotway RS? Well, from my experience with it, it's sat right here at the moment. You don't think you can actually really quite see that. Let's put my computer here. Can you see that? I don't know if you can. I'm so far behind. In a minute, I'll be able to tell. That wheel there so far has been very impressive, yeah. Not as impressive as the Sherman. But then it isn't the same price as the Sherman, is it? And I think you could almost say that I'm not going to do it because we don't mess around. We don't take apart these wheels when we're doing 1,000 kilometers. So we try not to mess around with them too much. So we can't open them up. It's one of the rules we got, which you may not be aware of, but we're not going to do any servicing on these during that 1,000 kilometers. Just for the sake of that fact that if we took this apart, we could be accused that we didn't put it back together again properly. So we don't touch them. So if they break during that 1,000 kilometers, they break. You may notice that the KS18L video, we never finished those. In fact, we still got it here. It's just that the tyre blew out. Same sort of tyre as this. It's not King Song's fault. It's not the tyre's fault. It just blew out. It's a deformation. Well, it is the tyre's fault. It's deformation in the tyre, and it popped out the side. So it split, and then we don't think we caught on anything. It looks like actual just it's not formed properly. It's the only tyre it's ever happened on. But same as this style, same as pretty much this style tread. It basically popped out. The tyre popped out, and then the inner tube ballooned out and then burst. So. But we haven't taken it apart, and we'll probably continue at some point, but it's pretty much gone by the by now. Close to what this V11 is becoming. It's taken us so long to get this, by the way. It's like, oh my goodness, everyone else has done a review on it. Where the heck is ours? And it's one that we actually paid in full for, you know. A little bit disappointed in some regards with InMotion on that front. Because some people got them free. Some people given them. We paid full whack for it. And it took ages. We received it last. It's almost like they're saying, screw you. You can have it last. So we haven't really been in a rush to do the V11 review, but not by being stubborn, by the fact that other things have come out in the time it took for that to arrive. So the KSS18 came out. This came out. We got the monsters in that are shouting to be ridden, the 100-volt monster, the latest version. Those have all arrived. Did a newsletter today. If you're not signed up to our newsletter, then get signed up. That came out. And so loads of stuff has gone past that, gone by the by pretty much. So, yeah. So is it worth the money? That was the question, wasn't it? I think I've gone off track a little bit. Is it worth the money? Yeah, I've been well impressed with it so far. Shot off, did that. I did that. We basically got that. And I did that range test, 30-mile range test the same evening. I think, has that arrived? I think that's right. Within 24 hours anyway. And it was easily accomplishable. So I just jumped on it and, 30... If you're doing 28 miles an hour on the thing, and you do the math, it doesn't take very long to do the range test. Very, very good thing. Really nice bright light. It was all done at night, so if you haven't seen a review of the Gotway RS high speed, go and check it out. It was the last video we did on the channel. Well impressed. The only thing is it's not comfortable on the sides. I'm used to riding the V11. I haven't had any comfort issues at all on that so far, bar one thing that you'll see in the video when it goes live. So, yeah. You can hack that and hoom that thing around like no one's business. And I actually quite like these new front lights. Didn't like the other ones on the MSX. I love my MSX, one of my favourite wheels I had. And obviously this is the next generation of it. But yeah, these are a nice cool light. It's like a soft light. It's not sharp and you can see the bulbs. It's just nice. I don't know, something about it. I love my V8F. I am 6'1" and 255 pounds. Flatlander. Sweet. See, the V8F packs a punch. You're a big lad. And that's carrying you, so yeah. Since you're ex-EU and I order a wheel from you, do you still offer 2-year warranty, not including tyre and battery? Yes, we do. So it doesn't matter where you buy from, we still offer the 2-year warranty. It can make things complex. So if you're in Antarctica, for instance, and you have one shipped to you, you probably have to have the part sent to you and service it yourself. You know, as in service it yourself, but at no cost in terms of parts. So yeah. Any info on the V11 1,000-kilometer review? I've mentioned that already. You've joined in late. That's the problem, you see. But how are you to know? There was no time for this. It should be out tomorrow, all being well. Would you partner with someone in Africa, Cape Town? Not really. We have been asked that many times. So it's not really. Yeah, not really. We haven't really thought of a way around it. Loads of people have asked us in different countries, would there be a speedy feat, like South Africa, whatever. You know, very, very difficult to try and keep all the exact same standards that we go by. As soon as you have something slip, a missent email or anything like that, it becomes problematic. So, yeah, need to find a way really of doing it so we can be further and wider. We wanted to open a retail store as well, like a little shop on the high street. I thought that'd be really cool. And then we got all sorts of things happened all around the world, like including Brexit and all this sort of business. And I thought, not so sure. Probably wait. But that's kind of in very low down on the list. But it's a possibility. It'd be quite good to have a walk-in store. People can come along and try stuff out. A typical day, typical Ian day. Tea, ride, police. That's pretty much what happened. Ian Williams, do you think the lights on the RS would be able to go into the original MSX 100 volt? No, because it's completely different. Well, could they? Could you? Is it logistically possible to do it? I would imagine so, yes, but they are a totally different thing. They've got a driver board for the lights now, a separate board, which I think was running off the control board originally on the MSX, whereas now they got a side board that run the lights. I'll go and get you one. I can show you what I mean, so you know what I'm talking about. You have to bear with me a second. So that is the board. So that is a driver for the lights, essentially. Pretty much, that's what it is. So, yeah, that's what that is. I don't think you'll have that in the MSX. We've never stocked the MSX 100 volt, but I don't think you've got it in there. You might have, but not to my knowledge. But I've never opened one up, so I'm unable to say. What about IPS wheels? Well, we didn't have a good experience with IPS wheels. Gelby ass. So we don't deal with them anymore. Their support was woeful. We had the, what on earth was it called? IPS 5, was it? IP5? Can't remember what it's called now. It's got it in mind. Still got one here somewhere. Well, I say we got one. We've got one that's fully built, and the rest have been all stripped down and tried to fix them all. We had loads of problem with that wheel, and the support was terrible. So we got them brand new, obviously. Then we started having issues with them, and we said, oh, we've got a problem with this one, the battery's gone, got a problem with this one, the motor's gone. And then they're like, yeah, you can buy this kit off us. No, you didn't buy it because it's brand new, it's just arrived, it's faulty, dead on arrival. Like, yeah, you can buy a motor, you can buy a battery. So, no, we don't want to be doing that though. You're joking kind of thing. You want to send the parts over, we'll pay for shipping. No. Okay, that's not sustainable, so we'll see you later then. Are IPS still in business? I have no idea. I've no idea. Let's have a look, shall we? IPS unicycle. IPSwheel.asia. i5 it was called. That's the one. That's IPS is an abbreviated name of inverted pendulum system. It's also a famous company brand for development of the IPS company to start research develop. What the heck? It's got a picture of two doctors. This will instill confidence in you. IPSwheel.asia. If you go there, you've got a picture. Their main picture looks like, not doctors, vets. Two vets and a dog with a bow in its hair. Yeah, not sure what that's all about. So I don't think it's working. If you go to shop, there's nothing there. Do they make electric scooters? Anyway, probably a good shout that. Dodged a bullet. Not dealing with them. So, yeah. Okie dokie. Right, well, unless anyone's got anything else to say. Have you got anything else to say? Then I'll go. This was just an ad hoc thing. I'm supposed to be home. I'm supposed to have gone home. I'm supposed to have left work and gone home. Let me know. Or forever hold your peace. How many wheels do King Song got when Emotion sell worldwide per year? Any info? It is a lot. I'm going to sneeze. And it's not coronavirus. Excuse me. It's not coronavirus. It isn't. How many wheels do King Song got when Emotion sell worldwide per year? Lots. Thousands and thousands and thousands. Ottawa Wheeler EUC. From Canada. Ottawa. 5,000 kilometres on my Nikola 1,800 watt hour. Love it so much still since November 2019. Buy an MSX 84 volt, made 1,000 kilometres, and I'm selling it. The Nikola have my heart. There we go. I think he likes the Nikola quite a lot. Who else on here has got a Nikola? You tell me. Right, I am probably going to head off now. So, oh, that's true. Thank you. Bless you for sneezing. Hello, Finley, if you're watching. My wife met you today as you were riding your wheel. And she said, do a shout out for you. So, I have done. Nikola versus Tesla. Two different machines, really. Tesla is very small, nimble machine. The Nikola's a bit more bloated in terms of that. Yeah, different machines. What you think about suspension versus Monster? Which is the best? Suspension absolutely has its place, but at the same time, you do seem to lose something from a wheel when you have suspension, especially at its current time. Mind you, the V11 has 600 watt hours in it, doesn't it? So it's still got quite a lot of battery, but in that you could not fit to a 2,400 watt hours, etc. So like the Monster, 2,400 watt hours of batteries is quite a considerable amount of battery power in it. But there have been times where I think, oh wow, suspension would have taken that bump out. And it can be the difference between coming off. Not that I've ever come off on the road from hitting a pothole or anything, because I'm usually watching what I'm doing. But there are those potholes that sneak up on you, and I have hit those. I've bent rims before hitting them. That shows you how much power and force has gone into some of those potholes. Like smashed straight in and dented the rib on a wheel, which means it's travelling through these thick tyres, punching straight into the metal and bending it. Which is pretty horrific, really. If you could film that in slow-mo guys fashion, then you'd see the amount of impact and the amount of forces on these wheels is incredible. They last as long as they do, to be fair. If you think about it in that respect, these things are being slammed all into one point of contact, unlike a motorbike or car. They take the full brunt. So it's amazing, really. We don't have more snapped axles and broken components and all sorts. One of the things that I really like about the V8F is how easy it is to transition from riding to walking with the trolley handle. That's right. So, bang, done. Really, really easy. Yeah, totally agree. It's a good little design, that. The motion stuff is very well designed and very well built. It's very compactly built and looks professional. Professional job. And we'll do more on the V11. Hopefully tomorrow, if I can get the chance to finish editing it all up and putting it all together. Right, I will see you people. Thank you very much for tuning in. There's quite a few of you on. I've got another question. Is it true that they say the S18, they're somehow going to increase the battery on it? Plus, when you were testing S18 on acceleration, did it have forward dip? Forward dip. No, not really. I would have mentioned it. Put it that way. I would have mentioned it. Not as from my memory, no. I think I did the 4 videos on that. 1,000 kilometers in a very short space of time. And cannot remember that happening, no. No. I'm trying to think now. When you accelerate, you can get the things to lean forward quite a lot, a bit like the V11, but you're quite high up. So you're a lot higher on the S18 and the V11 than you are on the standard wheels. So that can have an impact. But no. And in terms of battery increase, again, not heard anything, but it's possible, I suppose. They need to. They sorely need to. They need six. This has got 1600, and they need at least 1600. But wouldn't 2000 be nice? But there ain't the room unless you modify it in some sort of weird way and make it a bit more bulky. Greetings from Czech Republic. After a ride on RS, how you feel raw power compared to MSP 2500 versus Gotway RS? Is medium hard soft road ride really different? RS versus PS. This thing, I tried to describe it in the video, and you can't really describe it. It basically feels like it's on all the time in terms of forward and backwards. There's no delay. There's no creaking of the motor. It's not under any pressure. It's just super sharp. And I can't see, with the high speed, we've got an equal amount coming in terms of shipments of these coming in. A split across the high speed and the torque, but I can't see why you'd want more than this is given already. Don't know. So we'll find out. I can't say too much because we haven't got the torque version because it's not available yet. But they've both got the hollow 2600 watt motor. So it's the firmware really that's changing things. They've got the same battery sets and everything. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see the difference between them and if it's distinguishable, because that is getting on now. Crazy power in it, 2600 watts of power. The 9bots, which you can just about see here, that 500 watts. When it first came out, it was 350 when it's 9bot C. And then it went 450, then it went 500, and people were like, flipping out, 500. So yeah, there we are. But in terms of the M Super Pro, not really the torque version versus this. You're talking M Super Pro torque version has got a 2500 watt motor. This is, and it's obviously got an axle, whereas this is hollow and 2600. So they're very close. And I haven't tested the M Super Pro. We are going to do that actually. We've got two models here, the high speed and the Pro, and we're going to test both those because we've got high speed in of this one, but not the RS. So we've got two left of the RS, and I think now, and we've got loads of the high speed, but they're a lot cheaper than this one. So, which is the high speed is more like the MSX basically, and I love the MSX. We got a load of those in because it's a nice wheel, but it's 100 volt and 1845 is it, or 1800 watt hour. I have the OG 9bot one here, riding 2,700 kilometers. Says Zem, if I upgrade, what wheel do you prefer? I'm from Philippines and loving your video reviews, man. Oh, thank you very much. If you were to upgrade, it depends what you're looking to upgrade from. You're obviously upgrading from that, but in terms of your ride style, how far you want to go, how fast you want to go in the terrain you're going over, what's your target area for hitting in terms of what riding you want to do. Mark says, start the weekly show. Everybody tell you if you missed the weekly show. Brilliant. Oh my goodness. Yeah, don't do that. Great idea with a live show. Love it. Hilly area, torque, flat area, speed maybe. Still struggling between hollow motor versus regular type. Well, regular type, you ain't going to break your axle, which I can tell you now is incredibly rare. No matter how many stories you see online, we get to see the sharp edge of the sword of maintenance, because obviously we do a 2-year warranty. I'm telling you, I can probably count on one hand the amount of axles we've seen broken in the last 7 years. That's how ridiculous it is. But the hollow motor, of course, is not necessarily just from breaking axles. What it really does is it enables you to pass a big giant cable through the center of the wheel, which has always been a problem. So now you can have stonking great wires which don't get hot, melt, etc, etc. There's a load of advantages from doing that. We're yet to see if there's any disadvantages because these things haven't been thrashed out for long periods of time. But the V11, oh, well, these two sat next to each other, just by coincidence, both have hollow motors in them. So if you think about it, the motor, I've got a spare one here, we have got loads of motors. They've got a solid axle in them. Whereas the hollow ones they're like that. They're opened up down the center, right in the center, and then you basically bolt on to, and then it'll end it. The molding, they're tapped in, so they screw into there. Everything else screws onto those, so the center of it remains clear. Whereas before, you have an axle which has got threads on it, which you bolt everything to, with a hole drilled through the center of it, which of course weakens everything. In fact, I'll go and get a motor to explain that one a bit better. So, this is a motor we had earlier. Here's one I made earlier. So, can I get this? You'll kind of see it, hopefully. There you go. So, you've got the motor with husky hair all over it. And then you've got this cable. You see the limitation here? As soon as you start increasing the diameter of this cable, you can't, because basically this is then it's to the detriment of the strength of the axle. So you can basically only go that wide, otherwise you run the risk of snapping the axle off, and that's where everything threads onto. So therein lies the problem, whereas a hollow one sits around sort of about that wide. And it's hollow, and so you can pass almost anything through it, and the bearing sits up here. So pretty impressive, really, from that point of view. But again, context, count on one hand in the last 7 years how many axles we've had broken. So is it really a problem? Not really. So in terms of, do I not buy a wheel because it's solid and it's got an axle? Now, I wouldn't definitely not advise that for sure, because that's just not in line with anything that's reality. So don't worry about it if it's solid, but what it does do is for the future, it enables them to upgrade all the cables and everything and push out motors with a lot more power, a lot thicker gauge cable, which can obviously carry more amperages, etc. So from that point of view, going forward, this is the way. It's not that the motors are bad, because they're perfect in what they sit in at the moment, the design they've got, but you can start upping everything considerable. It gets around that problem, which has always been, how on earth can we get thicker motor cables through? Well, we can't, so we'll stick around the 2,500 watts mark. So there we go. I think that 2,600 watt is crazy power, but Monster Pro and X will have 3,600. That should be over crazy. A few years ago, 2,000 watts was mental. So from that point of view, that was crazy then, and now we're talking about 3,600 watts of power. Mario wants to come and say hello on the live show. I don't know what he's been doing for the last 45 minutes. Because you had that fixed like 45 minutes ago, didn't you?
Not quite.
Not quite. Come and say hello, Mario.
Where?
Come and tell Mike, not my Mike, customer Mike, is his wheel successfully fixed?
Yes.
It is.
And the speaker even works.
And the speaker even works, and it still even works, which is when Mario fixes something. That's what we always say. It still works. That's brilliant.
Fast and it said, please decelerate.
Excellent. Mario has fixed Mike's wheel. Mike, if you're watching,
the wheel has been fixed.
Your KS18 has been fixed.
And this works as well?
Lift handle works. Everything works.
Yeah.
Put it on charge. Give the old guy full charge.
Where's the charger?
It's where you last left it, which was plugged into the S18. Charge
so
the battery to full.
Charger is the same. Okay.
It is.
Good.
And then you can.
Was there a new light?
No.
Oh.
It is not.
Okay.
Do you want to come round here and say hello, or?
You
Don't bring the wheel. No need.
Okay.
No need to bring the wheel. Because knocking everything over.
Aren't people here for the wheels?
They are. I think they're more here to see your lovely little face there.
I'm curious.
So you have to come right here because it's like real weird. It's brilliant off the GoPro, isn't it? It's been performing really well.
I can be here and still no one sees me.
No.
Still no one sees me.
Wow, you say that, but I just do that.
Oh.
Right now. Can they? Because this is so far behind. So this is hacked together live streaming. This is.
Okay.
So I'll put that back. Only because.
We're gonna.
If you stand here, they'll see you.
But.
Oh no, I can still see you there.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's you dancing, thinking you couldn't be seen. But little did you know.
This is wide.
Yeah.
Oh. How many people do you have? 47.
47. So say hello to the 47 people.
Hello, 47
You could
people.
come and stand here and then you could say hello. I'll squeeze in. Ready?
Yeah.
Because like everything, we do everything in tiny small spaces.
Hello, 47 people.
I'm not sure if we can. I presume we can see you. Is your head cut off or is it? Nah, it can't be. It's never.
Because I'm at the corner, so
yeah.
If you can see that, we can definitely see my head.
Yeah. Matt says hello, Mario.
Hello, Matt. Hey. So it's probably like a 15-second delay, but.
Yeah. There he is.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I'm in frame.
You're in frame, and that's you in the past. That's Mario.
Yeah, in the past.
In the past.
Hey.
So.
It's like time travel.
It bit for us it is, but for them it's just boring because we're talking about something they haven't got a clue what we're talking about. There's a massive lag
between
what I'm seeing and what you guys are seeing. You're seeing it in real time.
Yeah, and we'll.
Well, you're not seeing it in real time. They're seeing it in this time,
Yeah.
which is in the past.
For us.
But for you, it's present. We're at that one now.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay. I might need to look into that then. Okay. Bye.
What have you done?
Well, I don't know if the lights there, they don't quite light up.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I don't think that's
Going back to Mike, your KS18 may be fixed, or it might not be. So, Marius is going to have a quick look at something. No, it's all right. You just need to see that light. That LED strip's gone. It's what it's gone. So it's half of it's working. You can have a quick look. I think.
Yeah, half of it is
Yeah,
working.
half's working. That's
Well,
fine. That's not a problem. You know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, see you. Thanks, Mario, for everything you've done today. That's great. As in main regarding motors, design, I'll go through that probably. I have the M Super Pro HT. Absolutely love it. The kill switch's weird placement is the only issue. I disconnected it. Oh, you disconnected it? Okay, that's a good idea. If you don't need it, because then you can just put the seat on without hacking the seat. What would be an ideal tyre pressure for my V10F? I'm around 70 kilograms. I would go between 35, I'd probably 35 psi. Are hollow wheels harder to take apart? No, I don't believe they are harder to take apart. In fact, it's nightmare taking out axles. You need specialist equipment really to take axles in and out safely. You probably can do it with a hammer, but really you need big presses to do it because they're pressed into place essentially. It's possible to get out, but just you can damage stuff. It's definitely not easy to do. So it's probably easier a hollow wheel. I would actually like to see a battery pack that can fit into an EUC and pump out 3,000 watts. I wonder what that is in volts. Don't know. You need to know the amps and the watt hours to work out what you need. Hi Ian, hi Sank. Hi Ian, your video is one of the first I ever watched for EUCs. Can you tell us how you got into riding EUC? I can. Well, that is a decent question. You've asked a decent question there, because I got into EUCs from owning an electric car. So I think I may have mentioned before, probably not, quite a long time ago now. So I'll tell the story again. I'll be like an old person telling the same story over and over again. I went looking for a company car, and I thought to myself, so I'll go back further than that. I was looking for a company car, but prior to that, we bought in 9bots, the 9bot Elite, so the two-wheel big Segway style thing, but half the price for Segway. That's how I got into this thing, pretty much. So got those in at the same time. I rode that round, so we rode that in loads. I was going out with the wife, Amy. I was going out with her, and we were going all over the place on them. It was amazing. It was just brilliant. We're going places that are nice and rural because you're not actually allowed to use those on the roads. So, and it was just amazing, floating around the countryside on these things effortlessly. It was just brilliant. And we had a few coming offs and falling into hedges and things like that, which made it even more exciting because they weren't the most reliable. And then I wrote to them, 9bot this was, and said, are you going to come out with anything that's like a single wheel? And they said, oh, hold your horses, we're coming out with something. And they came out with that. And so we got that in, and that's when the first video on our YouTube channel went up, I think, which was me learning to ride that. If you haven't seen it, that's 2014 possibly. That video came out. And so learning to ride that one. At that same time, basically I bought an electric car at the same time. So all these things sort of perfect storm all came together, and it was really through the electric car that I realised how amazing all this stuff was, which led me then to really go down the route of the two-wheel, one single wheel, electric transport with batteries basically. So electric motor, propulsion, electric propulsion with a battery. I figured out from the car this thing's flipping amazing, really, really good. It's all around about the same sort of time. So that's what won me over, is that you could drive these electric cars around. There's no gear changing. It was just so smooth, and it was quiet, and there's no vibrations. And if you haven't had an electric car, there's something not many people even mention, actually, is the lack of vibration traveling through the body and the chassis of a car, which leads to fatigue, amazingly. And so the stress levels of driving come down greatly. They go up massively because of range anxiety. But when they've sussed that out, which they're starting to get to now, 6 or 7 years on, that goes away, and that having no vibration through the steering wheel or the pedals, the accelerator, etc., and not having changed gear, just something else. And that led on to riding these wheels. And then once we nailed this and realised that they can go, 10, 12 miles, which was amazing at the time, it's like flipping out. You can travel places on these things efficiently. And so that's where it all started, really. 9-watt 1, C, and then C+, and then E, and then E+, and then on to pretty much the Gotway M Super V3 when it came out, and from there on out. So yeah, there we go. That's a little history for you. Hope that answers your question. Seagoat EUCZ10. Hi Ian and Mary, hope you guys are good. We are, thank you very much. Nice to see you back on here again. Jump, Mario, jump. I just got my wheel about 3 weeks ago. Does the thrill ever go away? It does not ever go away. That's another thing. It just remains. That you go from the thing of learning to becoming a confident rider, and then you get through that stage, and now I ride around, I'm thinking about work, I'm thinking about family, but I'm not thinking about actually riding. And I get the thrill of riding, and my friend Pete, he's riding now. He's been riding for about a year. And his son rides, and he got his daughter riding, and then we go out together and we ride, and it's just great. So you've got the communal aspect of it. You've got the fact that I can take the dog out. So like Bruce, being a husky, Siberian husky, needs a lot of running. I can go on a 10-miler with him, and it's nothing. And even if you've got time constraints, it frees up. Taking a dog for a walk, I'll run. Take a dog for a run, you can accomplish, his exercise regime can be accomplished in like a quarter of the time, at least a quarter of the time. In comparison to if you had to do that on foot and you had to run yourself, you wouldn't be able to fit it in. You need to be out for an hour. Well, I can be out for 20 minutes with him. It's amazing, really. You can go out for 20 minutes and accomplish what someone else who doesn't know about these devices could accomplish in an hour. So from that point of view, there's so many benefits. And when I'm riding along, I can commute to here, from home to here, and I'm about 5 minutes behind a car at most. And I'm hitting mostly off-road in, so it's about 60-70% off-road. And it's just amazing. I'm flying through the woodlands, and there's deer, boar, squirrels, rabbits, well, you name it. You've got it all going on. And it's incredible. In winter, it's a bit more challenging, but then I just look at that as a positive and say, well, it makes you a better rider. If you can ride in slippy mud, leaves, and over slippy rocks and stuff like that, then that just opens you up to being a better rider. So everything has its benefits, apart from you get soaking wet. Amazing. They're amazing things. There's so many things. As you probably tell, quite passionate about them because genuinely they are transformative. So people who've got disabilities that can't walk very far, they can jump on these things and it can take them beyond their boundaries they had before, literal miles beyond it, into a place where they get to garnish all that enjoyment out of it. And that's why it's so frustrating with the legislation in the UK, is that really that all needs freeing up. Yes, there will be some idiots that go frigging 55 miles an hour down a road and they come off and they're going to hit someone, and then there's all that is possible. It's all possible. But you had the same arguments with bicycles at the time, and they're now legal. So we kind of need it to progress, really, because what it opens up is far more beneficial than the disadvantages. So yeah. Bought a V8 from you in July, done 500 miles now. Would you suggest the V10F or V11 as an upgrade? So Salty Drone, thank you for the question. Thank you for purchasing from us. That's brilliant. I think depends on your budget, for one, doesn't it? Because there's quite a big price difference between the V10F and the V11, but also how far you want to go and over what sort of terrain you're going. I mean, the V11 wins on, well, I don't want to talk about the V11 too much because the video's coming out tomorrow, but it wins on both terrains, really. That being said, the road riding on the V10F is also sublime because of the rubber foot plates, essentially. Rubber foot plates, nice big thick tyre, and the right PSI set that wheel off really nicely. So, depends on your budget, depends where you want to ride and how far you want to ride. John Duffy, brand new to the community and having a hard time deciding between V10F and V11 as a first wheel, but open to any all suggestions. Thank you so much for sharing your insight. Would love a weekly show. Thank you, John. I would go V10F unless you had the budget to go V11. So it's a very similar question to the previous one. You're the same people. You're not. One's John Duffy and one is Salty Drone. So that same answer to you, really, it depends on your budget and your use case. I mean, the V11, if you think about it, the V11 has got the seat coming out. So if you did want to ride sat down, that gives you that option. But then your budget is well blown in terms of the V10F. So you're spending a lot more money. You think you're able to get the V11 and then buy a seat as well. And once you start adding those things up, it's a considerable difference. So if budget isn't an issue, I would say, well, go V11 because you might as well. And there's plenty of you guys out there with disposable income, which isn't an issue. But if you are constrained by a budget, then you're not going to be disappointed in the V10F, is what I'm saying, basically. The V11 opens up with the extra money. You're talking about dual charge ports, a USB port, suspension, possibility of a seat. Yeah, that's what you're opening up for the extra money between the V10F and the V11. So there are big differences between the two. And it's a bigger wheel as well. And actually, you might want a smaller wheel rather than this large wheel in terms of wheel diameter. So the smaller the wheel, the more controllable it is. Less effort needs to go in. The bigger the wheel, the more effort needs to go in. And you find the suspension wheels, you need a little bit more lean to get them going because they tend to be higher up. Because obviously, they've got to leave room for the compression when the suspension is going up and down. And so they tend to be a little bit higher. So, yeah. Oh, I've missed loads of questions here. I'm catching up slowly. Let's have another look. I run to the store and I can't just go home. I find the need to roll the extra 5-6 kilometers because it's too much fun. Totally agree. Reggie says, bonjour, bonjour. Could you learn to ride on the Sherman? Doing my research and all the wheels seem to break easily. I was looking to buy the 18XL but didn't hold up too well for your friend Tom. The 18XL, so if you're crashing all the time, then it won't. But we've got loads of customers. So don't ever, it's an important point this really, is don't ever pin feedback of a wheel on someone who's only ridden it a short distance. So the golden rule, ride a wheel 50 miles to get used to it. And secondly, someone like just saying, well, John broke his, he's broke it like 3 times. And that makes it bad. It doesn't, because we've sold loads of them and we hardly get any issues whatsoever. So the one we've got in now that we just highlighted, that was had a calibration issue. So it was a firmware update. I think it spat out the basically the calibration on the thing, and it would sit there and slowly start going back and forward. And no matter how many times you calibrated it, it wouldn't correct itself. So we fit a new board to it to wipe that out. But the board didn't fail. I think actually if we flashed it with new firmware, it would be fine. So rolled it back and then reinstalled it, it would probably be fine. But we haven't really got time to mess about with this stuff. So if it's something like that, it's like board, take it out of stock, boom, done. There you go, your wheel's done. And we're backlogged as it is. So in terms of that, yeah, John, if you're dropping it, so his are always crash scenarios. So it was never, he was just riding along and it fell apart. It was always crash scenarios and some big heavy crashes. So the reason he had the 18XL in the first place is because I had it and I was doing the review on it and it was lovely. And then John came off it and smashed it up. See you, Mario. Bye-bye. Goodbye.
Bye.
17:58. Clocking out. Wow. And then so he had a big crash on that and then went to replace the side panel on it, and then he had another crash and went to replace the side panel on it. So yeah, and I definitely would not say that all the wheels seem to break easily, because they don't. And the best way of gauging that is by looking at all the reviews we've done. So all those reviews we've done on all those wheels have not resulted in them breaking over 1,000 kilometers. Just saying. So, and I take it, if anybody knows my riding, I go all over the place and do 1,000 kilometers on it and take it on multiple terrains and stuff. And I'm not writing stuff off left, right and center. And if the faults came up, they are announced as and when. And so far, we've not had a single one fail the 1,000 kilometer test, apart from I talked about the 18L at the time. Failure. So yeah, there we go. I hope that answers that question. I definitely would not say, Becky, that all wheels seem to fail easily. So online, you'll see negatives about a certain manufacturer or whoever it may be at any one time. The great thing, as I said earlier, we're at the sharp end of failures. So if we do get failures and we see something that's consistently failing, we just won't stock it. And that's always been my argument. The stuff we sell works. Now, can you find someone that's had a major problem with that specific model? Probably. You can probably find out on every single model. Say, oh, it's just a total waste of time. This wheel doesn't work properly, etc., etc. But if that was true, we would not sell it, because actually it's really, really costly. A year and a half's time getting a wheel back in, replacing a battery set or replacing a control board. It's really expensive. We don't get given this stuff half the time. We have to buy it unless it's brand new. The manufacturer might replace parts, but very often it's costly for us. And so we just wouldn't do it. So everything that we sell are things that we fell upon, that we've ridden ourselves, and deemed to be worthy of actually selling in the first place and are reliable. And then so you're asking whether it's a complex question to answer, isn't it? If you want to answer it properly. Can you learn to ride on a Sherman? Absolutely. Absolutely, you can learn to ride on a Sherman. So you can learn to ride on any wheel. The easiest wheel I've ever found to learn on is the M10-3. And so the smaller wheel, obviously the more controllable it is, and the more power you can exert over that wheel. And the bigger they get, the harder they are to handle. Not because of their power output, but because of their size. There we go. So I hope that makes sense. Can you learn on if you've got a Sherman, you'd be leapfrogging your learner wheel. So what typically used to happen is people would get the 9.1 E+. They got that knowing that they were going to beat it up a little bit, and then they would move it on to a family member or a friend, or they'd just sell it or keep it in the loft. And then they would get their big proper wheel. That's essentially the way it used to go. We have loads of customers that have got multiple wheels because they like the M10-3 or they like the bigger wheels. So they got like a Monster, M10-3, V8, and they like to go out regularly on all those different models they've got because they like the different feel of different things and different environments. So an M10-3 is good in the back of the car. If you ever pop out, out a mile away from the centre of town, you can park up and ride that in. You don't want a Monster. So can you do it on a Sherman? You definitely can. You'll be leapfrogging your beginner wheel, essentially. You just need to be made aware that you're taking an expensive wheel, and if you're going to keep dropping it all the time, it's not very good for it. So wrap it in something is the easiest answer. If it's literally bubble wrap, wrap it in it if you haven't got a clue how to ride. That way you can take that off when you've finished. You can take it off looking a bit strange when you've learned to ride, and then you can ride it without that on, and you'll save it. So 55 people now. The demand for your weekly show increases. It does, it appears. I'm supposed to be going. GG next. 100 volt times 30 amps is 3000 watts. There we go. Anyone else see Tesla battery day? Anyone else see Tesla battery day? I didn't, Ivan. I did hear about it. Tell me more. Haven't had any chance to look at it today. Ian Williams, if electric unicycles put an extra port, could carry an extra battery in your backpack, which you could then plug into your unicycle when battery low to go further like mountain bikes. So we looked at this when we were doing 1,000 miler. We did loads of testing across this. Admittedly with what we had available at the time, and we tried the concept of battery swaps, so putting less screws back into the panels than you'd usually have, ready to pull them out every 3 hours kind of thing, or at 3 hour point, and then charge them up all overnight. What we ended up doing was linking up charge port to single batteries on the Monster. So there's 3 sets, and we put a charge port from each one, so we had 3 charge ports on the Monster, and then we use a port splitter to then charge them. You're talking about carrying an extra battery. The issue is batteries are really heavy. So I think 4.5 kilograms for an 800 watt hour lithium ion, which is in these, I think it's 4.5. It might be 3.5. 4. It's about 4. Say 4. Can't go far wrong. 4 kilograms is a heck of a lot of weight to be carrying around, and that's just for one battery. So that's a consideration for a start. And you can just create a T-piece with an XT60 connector. So you can tee off the battery pack with an XT60. If you look up XT60 online, that's the type of connectors that most of them have. Not all of them, different connectors for different wheels. And you can match that up, put a T-piece in, and then obviously drill a little hole through and bring that out somewhere where water won't get in. Or you can create a plug, rubber plug, stop water getting in. And then you can have that output in and capped off. And so then you could run a cable down and plug it in. Now the issue is it will balance across all 3 batteries. So if all those if you've got 3 batteries or 2 in this RS, if you've got 2 battery packs there, you tee off one of them, that's fine, it'll bring it in, but they essentially fill up those 2 batteries up to a certain point. And we found this out with the 9-volt E+ when we were trying to do the 1,000 mile. We were originally going on 9-volt E+, is mental to think of, and we put in 12 battery packs, I think it was, on it. If you connected one battery pack up after 12 were depleted, it would just drain that one. It would just balance across all of them, and it would bring it down to about 10%. So you couldn't ride the wheel, it would keep beeping. If that makes sense. So really you'd need to carry ideally 2 battery packs unless you're willing to get a 50% hit, essentially a 50% loss. It would bring it down to the 50% mark across all 3 batteries once you plug the new one in. This is just making up figures here, but you get the idea. It would drain that battery down, balance across all the packs. And then if you're on a wheel where the firmware started restricting you at 50%, you'd head into that knowing that you're going to be restricted at 50%, but it would be a great reserve sat in your backpack. So it's possible, but you need to think about those things and play about with it, basically. 3,600 watt hour is 3,000 watts for 1.2 hours. So you could ride it for 1.2 hours, basically. Is that what you're saying, I think? I have to carry a stick to keep the chicks away. Very good. Didn't know you were working on a chicken farm. Does the hollow motor spin faster, less resistance? Don't know the answer to that question. If I did, I would answer it, but I can honestly say I do not know the answer to that question. Does it spin faster? I can't see why, because they're sat on bearings. So don't see why, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be less resistance. But then you take the current heat generation account. So I'll go spin up. I have the V11. It is the Cadillac of wheels. That's Bill H. Seago EUC Z10. Thanks for sorting those M103 footplate bolts. My daughter's learned to ride now. She loves it. Now she's done 200 miles on it. Wow. Much better than the 9.S. No problem at all, mate. Yeah, we got them on the website for you. If you need M103 parts, by the way, if you go, we spent a lot of time on the site in terms of the parts area. You go to unicycles on speedyfeet.co.uk, click that, and it says all parts. You go to parts, and there's a filter now on the left-hand side, so you can filter by model. So there's hundreds of parts on our website, and we've got them almost all in stock. If you're ever wondering why we haven't got stuff and it annoys you, we've actually got hundreds and hundreds of parts in stock. It just so happens that every now and again we don't have the part you need. It's very frustrating. So have a look at that. You can select by model. We recently put some Sherman parts as well. But glad she's done 200 miles. 200 miles, a lot of miles on little M103. Well done. Tell her well done. Joe Beagler in the house. Hello, Henry Schill. Then we've got still loving the S18. Cheers, Ian. No problem at all. Thanks for getting it from us. First time see Mario. He's gone now. He's gone home now. Hi, great to see you back. Ian Robinson. Hello, Ian Robinson. I was going to email you the other day. Actually, I was talking to Amy about you. We need to get back in touch. GG next. By your experience, what is the wheel that took the most beating and kept going? Probably the MSX. Now, that's the only wheel, the MSX, which Pete's got now, my friend. That's the only wheel I've really smashed up. I did it doing the log jump, trying to get over the log. Which the only reason I was really doing that log jump was trying to see what happens in slow motion. I smashed it to smithereens. I say that, but it didn't break. It did not break. It's quite smashed up now because Pete's dropped it a few times, but that thing's still going, put it that way. In your estimation, when will V11 orders be available again? I've been holding fire because I want to order through you guys. It's been a while out of stock though. Totally agree. It is extremely frustrating. We have got them on order, and I'm just waiting for a shipping notification. Now, the interesting thing with this is do hold fire, just wait, because you're going to get the latest versions rolling off production line, and that's kind of where you want to be at. Because of the KSS18, the V11, with these brand new wheels coming out, and they're struggling to supply these wheels. Make sure Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are on to continue. Something went wrong. I'm hoping you're on. I'm not sure you still are. I don't know if we're still on. I'm connecting. Still on. Don't know. Think we're still on. I'll keep going as if we were. They've been having trouble getting the supply of raw materials. So it's been an issue, and they had then obviously teething issues to boot on that. So yeah. So they're hopefully a few sort of 5 weeks ish, I'm hoping, but just keep an eye out and we'll announce it once we got it. So have you encountered any manufacturer defects with the production version of the S18 so far? I'm not sure what's going on with this. It's saying this is not filming, but I think it is. Yeah, so we had a fault with battery charging, not up to 100%. I'm trying to think what else. That's all I can remember, the battery for that one, but it's not an overarching issue. So in terms of manufacturing issues, yeah, we've had that, but not like every model. We've had nothing that's come through that said every single one has got this problem. Not sure. Yeah, all on. So people are saying we're on, so I'm gonna keep going. My phone's crashed out, which is controlling the GoPro. It says it can't connect you, but bubble wrap your wheel. You heard it first. Yeah, bubble wrap your wheel. Okay, going to teach my girlfriend how to ride the EUC. Good man, get on with it. Get a ride in. The more the better. The Sherman weight might become discouraging to a new rider, possibly. It's a possibility. It's such a well-balanced wheel, though, that it's like, I think you're going to be okay. John Duffy, honoured to be in a virtual presence of the two top-tier role models, yourself and Haizang. And thank you for Henry Schill for the advice. You're welcome, John Duffy. Now that I have my S18, I wouldn't get a wheel without suspension. Interesting. Talking about parts, I would like to get 2 V11 chargers. That is possible. We have got them in. We have got them ordered. They will be in with the V11 battery. But they are coming out. They're not even on the site yet, but they are on an invoice, which hard-earned cash has gone on. So I know that much. Distributor cap for a 1972 Vauxhall Viva. Don't have those, sadly. Sorry to tell you. But eBay should be able to help you out. So there we go. No issue with the S18 so far. Touch wood. Can a Hobbit ride a mono wheel? They should be able to. It depends on footplate size, so don't go M10-3 because the footplate's quite small on that. So a Hobbit would probably need something like the Sherman size footplates. Nice big long footplates because they'll need the control. The issue with like the V11 for a Hobbit would be that the height of it is too much. They've obviously got a very short measurement inside leg, and so something like a V11 wouldn't be suitable for them. So if you let them know, come to speedyfeet.co.uk. I would say something like the Super or the RS would be good for a Hobbit. So just let them know that that's probably the model they want to go for. There we go. Right, I am gonna sign off because I think we've been streaming for a certain length of time that I'm not aware of what that time is because the camera's turned off. But amazingly, it stayed on. I think the GoPro Hero 9 has performed very well. Would you say it's performed well? Let me know. How is the GoPro Hero 9, the brand new release, how is that performed for this live stream? Let me know. Genuinely interested, because obviously I'm seeing it from my side. But yeah. Any advice for the V11 suspension adjustment? Yes, it's in my video tomorrow, to a degree. You might be disappointed with that because it doesn't go that in depth, but there's a couple of key notes in there that you'll want. Best wheel in a zombie apocalypse. Well, you need to keep on running, so you need the Sherman. That's what you need. And you need a tank in an apocalypse, so you need the Sherman. Anyway, thank you very much, people. Very, very good of you. No idea I'm going to end this live stream because you're going to see me sat here going like that because it just says we're having some trouble connecting your GoPro. So I'm going to try again and try and connect to it. But basically the app's crashed out. So the app has not performed well, shall we say. It's performed well up until the last 5 minutes. Camera work great. Camera seems all right. Does cut out a nittle, which it will do, by the way, because we are streaming from the data signal on this phone. That's the other amazing thing. So we're not stuck to a hard-lined, hard-wired internet connection. This is wireless to this, which is wireless to the telecommunications tower. So good for live stream, Hero 9, evening all, bye-bye. So electric people over there, electric people, or can't say it enough, get that community thriving. It's already pretty busy, but it'd be good to have you all on board. So, yeah, I will see you on the next one. Poppy says, thank you. Well, keep it up, Poppy. And we want to see some videos from her as well. Has Poppy got any videos she can send? Let me know. I still can't connect to this GoPro to turn it off, by the way. So we'll try and turn it off with the thing. But if she's got some videos, she can send them in. We can't do... That's the other thing we can't do. What I'm doing now with Hero 9, we can't do viewers' videos and stuff like that. Because obviously the whole console